Welcome back. And in this video, I'm going to look at Marmalead's new trends tool, which is actually very fun and it gives you some useful information. I'm not a big fan of trends in general because usually people are trying to predict trends. I think that's the biggest waste of time ever. You have to wait until something starts trending to know if it's going to trend or not. Because if you're just guessing, then you're just guessing. I want to see data. I don't want to have guessing. So anyway, let's go and look at some data over in Marmalead in the trends tool because they actually do have data. All right. So let's go into the trends. Now, when you come to Marmalead, it's going to be right here, trending. This is very interesting and they've changed this. This used to be trends from Pinterest trends, and that was okay because Pinterest will show you things that people are actually searching for now. And it was the same idea. Like if people are searching for it now, then we'll show it to you. But that was Pinterest. Pinterest does kind of transfer because people go to Pinterest to plan things, but this is from Etsy. Okay, so these now I will say a lot of this is copyright and a lot of this like copyright protected. A lot of this is not safe for work. We'll just put it that way. So you have to keep an open mind as you're reading this. And if you have tender eyesight that gets offended by dirty words, you might be a little horrified. However, as long as you use your discretion and you don't take things from this list and use them without investigating whether it's copyright and trademark protected and that kind of thing, you'll do fine. This is interesting because, okay, what this does is it takes keywords that are trending now on it, like right now on Etsy. People are on Etsy searching for these in larger numbers than other types of keywords. And in general, these are probably going to be shorter because those will have the most types of searches. Most people who search for super long tail keywords, there's less search volume for those. But this is going to give you a pretty good idea of what is actually being searched for on Etsy right now. And the other thing that this is good for is saying, should I be listing Halloween stuff? Should I be listing Christmas stuff? Because it's still 5 months away or 3 months away or whatever it is. Yes. Okay. This is good for that because you can come in here and check to see if there are, Halloween words trending. And I don't know that there are any here right now. The one thing is that you have to kind of go through these and look. It's going to pull out some of the most common words that they're seeing. And the other thing is that this changes every hour. So you can come back in an hour and these are going to be different. You're probably going to see some kind of, continuing over. But I was here a couple hours ago looking at this and there were a ton of non-English words. There was a lot of German words. There were some Spanish words. There were some French words. And it's probably because this is the morning and Europe is 5 and 6 hours ahead of us where I am. So people in Europe are shopping earlier than I would be, based on my time zone. So you're probably going to see different words at different times of the day. Just be careful, like I said, that you're not pulling things that are copyright infringing and that kind of stuff. But that's an interesting little tool. And it's kind of fun because if you do come back in an hour, it's going to be different. And like I said, I was here 2 hours ago, totally different terms, totally different. So just take a look at that and get an idea. Now, this might take a little explaining. If you've watched any of my SEO videos for Etsy, you probably understand about market pages. But if you don't, and you're like, what is a market page? This is the reason that I always say, don't optimize your listings for Google. And Etsy is constantly saying, oh, optimize your listings and they'll be found in Google search. I'm like, no, they won't. Because the way that Etsy works with outside search engines, whether it's Google or Bing or Yahoo or DuckDuckGo or whatever, is they kind of have these market pages that they present to them. And I'm not sure if they're generated automatically or if they're actually set up. But a market page is Etsy's way of bringing someone from an outside search engine to Etsy so that they see a lot of things and not just a single listing. So it's very unusual for single listings from Etsy to show up in outside search engine searches because Etsy's got these market pages. It's not to Etsy's advantage to bring people from an outside search engine to one listing. They want to bring them to a page that has a lot of things to choose from because it has more of a chance that they'll actually find something that they want to buy. So these are the current market pages that Etsy is presenting to search engines. And these do sort of change and they do fluctuate based on what like I said, I'm not sure if they create these automatically based on searches on the outside search engines or how that's set up. But these are search terms that show up on Etsy when someone clicks on a market page and comes to Etsy from an outside search engine. You might be saying, why is Etsy sellers there? Well, it's because Etsy knows that when people search for Etsy sellers, they're probably either looking to buy from Etsy or they're looking to find out how to be an Etsy seller, but they want to use the fact that they're searching with the word Etsy and bring them to Etsy. And I did go and test this out, and there is actually a market page for Etsy sellers, which is weird because it's not really a search term that you would buy. But there are lots of, there's lots of how to sell on Etsy things on Etsy, so that they show them that. And I am going to show you a market page. I have this one, silver glass pendant. The way that market pages work, and it is kind of strange. When I do keyword research for Etsy, I start on Google a lot of the time. And I don't necessarily I have several different tools that I use, but sometimes I'll just go straight to Google and I'll search a keyword and see what market pages come up. And that gives me a starting point. And if we click this little thing here, this will take you to the Etsy search result that shows you silver glass pendant. This is the market page. And you can tell because right up here, it says market in the URL for this page. So it's a market page. Same thing if we go back. If we go down, okay, not again, I hadn't gone to Google yet, but if I type silver glass pendant, okay, first of all, there's lots of pendant lights that come up, which is interesting. But Etsy is not giving us that. They're giving us the market page. See, this says market right here. If you see this in a search engine, it means that this is a market page. And if you click this, it's going to take you to this page. The interesting thing about market pages on the outside search engines is that sometimes the search will not be the same as the keyword that ends up on Etsy. So I could search for maybe gray pendant necklace or silver pendant necklace, and this market page might actually come up for that. And it would take you to Etsy with silver glass pendant as the search result. And I know this is a little confusing, but let's go back to Marmalead, because basically all you need to know is that these are keywords that Etsy is getting traffic from outside search engines organically. Okay, so they are getting, this is organic search. This is not offsite ads. This is organic search. So if somebody comes to your listing from an outside search engine in the organic search results, you don't pay the offsite ads fee. You don't have to worry about any of that. And it's just something that you can look at these terms and be aware of and take a look at the result page by clicking on this thing. It'll take you to the results page, and it will give you a kind of an idea about, what kind of things Etsy is targeting for search terms on outside search engines. And I do find this interesting because this is coming at it. Like I said, I use market pages a lot when I do SEO research, but I don't start on Etsy. I look at Google and I come to Etsy through the Google side of it or through the outside search engines, whether I'm using Bing or Google or whatever, they all show up in the search engines. So I'm looking at the market pages and then I'm coming to Etsy. This is looking at Etsy and what search terms are showing up. So pay attention to that. But you can also go up here to the search bar here. And let's say I want to look for cake, because I think cake decorations, sometimes nothing shows up. Okay, some things are showing up here. And I know they probably have more keywords than this, but I'm not sure. Like they have more market pages than this, I mean. I'm not 100% sure, but I asked Gordon from Marmalead, and he said it usually will work better if you use a shorter phrase. So if I just put cake in, it's going to bring all this stuff back, and I can take a look at this and see if any of this is useful. Let's put in necklace. Like the long tail keywords might not bring anything up. And this also is not every single market page, because I did try that out. So there, it is like not 100% going to give you every single market page, because there are millions of them. There's so many. But this is going to give you some that have good search volume and visits and the whole thing. And this is visits from number to the market page. So this is visits from the outside search engines in a single month. And you can, like I said, hover over this and you can see percentage of visits to the market page that came from Etsy itself. I have to think about that one for a minute. See, this is very confusing to me because I'm not used to coming at it from the Etsy side. So I would have to go back and see. I'm just looking at the keywords here. I don't care about any of this. I'm not too concerned about any of these stats that say 0%, because a lot of times these, like the tools, don't have all the information. And I'm not worried about this basically. Now, if you do see campaigns here, that means that Etsy is running a paid ad campaign. Let's look at this one, compass necklace. This means that Etsy is advertising and targeting the term compass necklace on outside search engines. So if you see this CPC, I think that is the traffic from it. Like Etsy is bringing, let's see, percentage of visits to the market page that came from Etsy. Okay, so that's just maybe organic. And this came from organic search. Okay, that's weird. Oh, maybe that's like traffic to that keyword if somebody typed it in on Etsy, and this is the traffic from the outside search engine. Okay. Now this is interesting. This shows the affiliates. I might have to do another video about this because I didn't even take a look at this before. This is interesting. But the CPC shows that's cost per click, and that shows paid ad campaigns on outside search engines. And they're running one ad campaign for that right now. If you click on this little triangle, and Gordon had a word for it, I don't know what it means. It's a green triangle. If you see that next to one of these, it just means that it has more information. So if you click it, it's going to open up. So this says Etsy paid ads. They are targeting the keyword compass necklace on outside search engines and running ads to Etsy. That is very good to know if you want to target that keyword, or maybe if you don't. And I mean, if you sell compass necklaces, you kind of have to. But just be aware that if Etsy is targeting this, number one, they think that they might get some good traffic from it because they wouldn't pay for ads if they weren't, I would hope, getting good traffic from it. But also it's something that you might want to make if you do want to get, like if Etsy is saying this is a good keyword, we're going to bid on it, then maybe you should make some of those. Or you might want to watch out to see if your offsite ads are kicking in. If you can opt out, you might want to opt out if you don't want to pay the extra fee. If they're advertising this, then you might get clicks through from an offsite ad. So if you do see that CPC number show up, let me close that out. If you see the CPC show up, then you can pay attention and say, oh, okay, like look at this. Necklaces. Okay, so they're running an ad for necklaces. That makes complete sense. It's very general. It says they're getting 98% of the traffic to the word necklaces is coming from search, which means they're probably running a lot of ads or like outside search. And if you click on this, it'll open up. They're running paid ads for the terms Etsy necklaces because people, I don't understand this, but people go to outside search engines and they search for Etsy necklace. I don't know why you don't just go to Etsy and search, but they don't. So they are targeting the keywords Etsy necklaces, necklace Etsy, and necklaces. And then also sometimes if you open this up, they'll just have this little blue thing, and that will show you more of like the Google and Bing search terms. But anyway, anytime you see this little green thing, it just means that there's a little bit more information there. So some of the search terms that are coming up is Etsy vintage carnival glass necklace, but see, they're spelling it with an S there. Somebody hit the keyboard wrong. So that counts as a separate keyword, and it's just something to be aware of. So I really like this tool, but it might take a little bit. What is my hair doing? It might take a little bit to figure it out, but I like it because you can see what is Etsy targeting for market keywords on outside search engines. And it can give you an insight into what they're advertising. So I don't know how you can use that information. If you're opted into offsite ads, it doesn't really help you. Like permanently if you can't opt out. But it's good to be aware of this kind of stuff, and it might give you ideas of new products to make. And the trends thing at the top that updates every hour, that's really fun just to watch it. And it's also, you read it and go, what are people searching for? That's disgusting. There's a lot of really disgusting searches that happen on Etsy. I will warn you that I did see a couple in there, and they were very mild in comparison to some things I've seen. So that's all. But if you have any questions about this, post them. But I like this tool just to give you ideas and have at it. It's kind of fun. All right. So give this video a thumbs up, and I will talk to you later.